Well, then I guess back to you. Who do you have for your disappointing team, Grant?
My disappointing team is a team I didn't have much faith in coming into the year. So I could say it was an I told you so team, but comes the circumstances, I'm a little upset with them. And that's the Tennessee Titans. It's the battle of the Houston Oilers uniforms. You're going to try to troll the Texans and wear these when you're at home. You're up 16-9 with 7 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and you let Case Keenum go down the field and get a touchdown. This isn't Minnesota Case Keenum with Thielen and Diggs and McKinnon coming out of the backfield. This is Houston with no Tank Dell and no C.J. Stroud. You're up. You have a lead in that game. You're playing at home. You've played super well at home this whole year, and to not be able to close that game out, it's kind of disappointing. And I think J.J. Watt is right. Now that Houston beat Tennessee in their backyard, Houston gets those uniforms. Those uniforms
You
now
son of a bitch.
They now belong to the Houston Texans.
I like it.
I hate you because that was gonna be mine.
Was that verbatim?
And everything you said, it was 1,000% correct. And I thought I had it, and I was like, "There's no way he's gonna pick the Titans." And luckily, I wrote down a couple of other ones because I was like, there might be a chance. But I was like, "There's no way anyone's gonna pick the Titans." And then you start talking, and I'm like,
"Oh my God, he's gonna do it!"
Son of a gun! What the hell? He stole my team,
dude. I'm actually amazed it took us like 15 weeks for that to happen.
I know.
Like for game of the week, I understand that, but for something like this, that's crazy.
Well, I guess mine then is we'll stay in the AFC South, bastard, and I'm gonna go with the Jacksonville Jaguars because
another week and they're in.
Yes, they have made. We might have to go back and listen to each episode this year and see if they were in every single game or every single week, because they have to be. But there has to be some sort of curse with the Jaguars because the talent is there. You can see it in flashes. But what did you say they were a couple of weeks ago? They were frustrating and
well, they just shrivel up whenever they play a good team, especially offensively.
Streaky and frustrating. That's what it was.
Streaky and the opposite of frisky and fun. To call it streaky and frustrating. Yes.
And I mean, like they're sloppy at times. They turn the ball over. Trevor Lawrence has a fumbling problem. Even though I don't know, now that I think about it, I don't know if he fumbled. But their special teams was poor.
He was running and he just
that's right, and he dropped it.
Yeah,
it was
that's what I was thinking of.
It was almost in the red zone too. Like
it was like the 20-yard line.
Mm-hmm. And then they missed the field goal on their first two drives.
Then their clock management at the end of the second half, like, Trevor, what are you doing, man? Why are you throwing it short with 18 seconds to go?
Yeah,
I'll tell you why. Dougie P went to the Andy Reid School of Clock Management.
That is very true. And they're keeping the rest of the AFC South in it. Now I was feeling really good about the Titans, but then they laid the egg to the Texans. And I still think Jacksonville finds a way to hold on to win this, but it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a three-way fight down to the end here in these last 3 weeks. But
dude, guys,
the Jaguars are my disappointing team.
They were 8-3 3 weeks ago, and they had games against backup quarterbacks coming in 2 straight games, and they lost both of those games. They were the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, shit to bed like the Chiefs.
Just put them out of their misery.
Well, I'm going to the specific player. I'm going with George Pickens, and this is directly related to the fucking video you sent to him. What a coward! Completely stops blocking. Guy would have had an easy touchdown if he kept blocking, but then goes and says, basically, I didn't want to get hurt, I'm a pussy, and then compares it to Tank Dell's injury, where Tank Dell is essentially running into a pile, helping his guy and pushing him forward, where
Yeah.
even close to the same situation. So for him to do that just shows how, like, just he is not aware of anything he is talking about. He's coming up with any excuse possible to not do his job.
I mean, Tank Dell
he did go to Georgia, so I mean, he didn't go to class ever. He just spent his time at the facility.
He majored in football.
He got a degree in football, 100%.
Yeah.
George Pickens has more fighting the Georgia Tech player in the end zone when they're up by 40 than they do in the NFL when you're in a playoff game and you need this game to get in.
Yep. It's just pathetic.
Dude, Hines Ward would have gone to prison for Willie Parker back in the day.
I'm surprised Mike Tomlin didn't just punch him in the face right there.
Well, okay, so you know what's funny? Listen to this, guys. I stole Dylan's team. Then in return, Dylan stole Ethan's team. On that note, I had the Steelers in my disappointing team, just like Jacksonville, how they've been in there every single week. And then I wrote down, like, is the Steelers culture truly losing its way? Because this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen 10 years ago.
Even Ben Roethlisberger talked about it. There's 100%. Nobody that is part of that Steelers culture that grew up around it where to hold guys accountable. There's nobody on that team. Even a guy like a TJ Watt he doesn't quite have that charisma, that exuberance that his brother has, where it seems like he can just command the locker room, where TJ just seems like a guy that he just wants to play football, get his couple of sacks, go home. Like he doesn't seem like the guy that will rally people around. But it's fair to question if Mike Tomlin's lost the locker room.